Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Fred and Friends. I'm your host, Fred Schultz, and tonight I've got a guy that I don't even know how to explain it. He helped me out so much at the very beginning. Every time I would have a problem, I'd be right on the horn to him. God, you got to help me, Steve. You got to help me. So tonight I'm actually having. He got a little time off, and I have Steve McGuire from the popular Unknown Paintball podcast is on here with me tonight, and him and I are going to be talking paintball, and we're talking about a lot of paintball. What's going on, Jacob? James, howdy, my buddy. How you doing, my friend? Kenny Stewart, man, General Paintball Museum. Kenny's got a show on a podcast tomorrow night. You're definitely going to want to watch it. And Kenny is going to be at Cup next week. Him and Bill Bailey are going to go ahead and they're going to set up their museums. And believe me, these two guys got everything. You're gonna want to come down, especially if you're going to be at Cup. You're going to want to go check this out. Go meet Kenny Stewart and Bill Bailey. It's absolutely their museums are just, it'll blow you away when you see it. I mean, literally, they have one of a kind items that nobody else has. It's just very, 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 very cool. That's three berries. Hey, Nancy, how you doing? Matter of fact, I'm going to talk a little bit right now, Nancy. When we started trying to make the Maui Misfits, get them, to collect some money to get them over to the Cup this year, my first game plan was just to make people aware of it. And hopefully everybody would jump in and, donate a little here, donate a little there. And, guys like Jacob Easter, they jumped in and some other guys jumped in doing fundraisers and everything for them. And, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But, there's just a couple of things that I'm going to do right now. I had I was going to have a giveaway thing tonight. And Stefan, hey, buddy. Gumby. I tried to call you earlier too, Gumby. Anyhow, I've got things that we're going to give away tonight. People that donated money that signed up for a raffle that we were going to do tonight. But what I'm doing is this is actually how I'm going to do it. Okay. So I've got, what happened? Don't do that. Don't do that. Here we go. Okay. I got Ian Redden. He donated $100. So he bought $100. I told him that the raffle was already done, and I still had one Bud Orr signed auto cocker body left. And so anyhow, he donated $100. So he is going to get the auto cocker body, period. I thought that was so very, very cool. And Kenneth Haggard, okay, I know him as Hell. I guess at work they call him Kenneth. I'll call him Hell. Hell donated money also. And Hell, what I'm going to do for you is this one of the original J&J Fred Schultz barrels still in the package. It has never been opened for 20 some years. Okay. Kenneth, this is coming your way. Actually, I'm going to bring it down to Cup next week. And if you're not there, I'm going to give it to Bill because everybody else gives Bill everything to give to everybody anyhow. So this is yours, my friend. And that's going to be on the way to you. And I appreciate the donation for the Maui Misfits also. That was so cool. Tracy Perez donated. Tracy, you're a doll. What you've got is an autococker shirt coming. I guess it's very few of them are made in 2023. And anyhow, one of them is on the way to you. It will be at Cup. Bill's bringing it down to Cup. So Tracy, you're going to get it when you get there. Kenny Stewart. I just talked about Kenny, General Paintball Museum. You're going to want to be there. Absolutely cool. Kenny, what I'm giving you is an original Ironman t-shirt signed by Dave Weiss, Cook. Now, this is it. That is one of the original t-shirts from back in the day, my friend. So, Kenny, that is on the way to you, my friend. That was very, very cool. And John Peavy. Okay, now I don't know John. when I mentioned that I was thinking about doing something like this, John Peavy dove right in and was the very, very first person to donate to try to buy tickets. So you know what? This is what I'm doing, John. You get the band shirt signed by Bud Orr, Dan Colby, Tim Schloss, Gino. I mean, it's got all the great signatures on it. That is coming your way because you were the very first person to donate. I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate that. Very, very cool. And then Stefan, okay, I call him Gumby because I can't pronounce his name worth a damn. Santersola. He came in at the last minute and with another great donation. And so what I'm going to do is I'm giving him, this is one of the first run of the original Tiger Stripe camo shirts. I'm going to give you that. And I've got some other stuff that I'm going to give to you too, because you are one of the most thoughtfulest guys. That was absolutely so cool of you to jump in at the very last minute and do something like this. So between the people that I just listed, they're all going to get something. And I'm going to kick in that what they bought came to $400. I'm going to kick in another $200. So tomorrow morning, I am going to send Chris Sierra $600 towards helping these guys to get over here. I think it's a big thing. You know, the Maui Misfits, I think, are a great team. I love not just the team themselves, not just the kids, but the parents. The parents stand behind those kids and work very, very hard. And everybody knows that normally they would take care of themselves because they have bake sales, which they still did. But it's not like it was in prior years because of the Maui fires. The fires really, really put them back a little bit, you know. So, you know, I know Jacob, once I made people aware of all of this, people jumped in and were giving them a hand. And, you know, for all of those people, and that's right, Jacob, you're one of them, Jacob Easter. And you guys all jumped in and you guys worked really hard for a great cause. And, you know, I'm very glad that when I mentioned it, you guys did things to help this team get over here because, you know, these kids are the future of paintball. Now, if you want paintball to keep growing, you need to work a little bit and you need to help these kids out. You really, really do. As a matter of fact, the gentleman I'm having on here tonight in a little while here, he has a son that plays paintball also. And, you know, that's exactly what we need is that. So, Chris, I'm going to be sending you $700 or $600 that I raised here tonight for you guys to give you guys a hand. And Nancy, I'm looking forward to see you and Chris at Cup next week. I think that's going to be very, very cool. Definitely looking forward to it. Absolutely. Let me give my shout outs real quick because, you know, I got a guy, you know, and this guy goes, oh man, it's Halloween. Nobody's going to be watching. Well, we got 23 watching live right now. So I guess trick or treating's done someplace. I don't know where, you know. And the guy that I'm going to bring on is already wearing his costume. It's pretty cool. You guys are going to like this. So yeah, he looks like a podcaster. It cracks me up. Anyhow, let me go ahead. Give my shout outs every week. I start every week with probably, you know, Bud Orr and I are very, very good friends, but I have to go with my closest friend I think that I've ever had in paintball is Tim Schloss. Okay. Tim means an awful lot to me. Tim's a special kind of guy. And I don't mean short bus special. I mean, just special. And, you know, he has a Tiger Stripe camouflage and he has a new Tiger Stripe that's out right now. So, you know, if you get a chance, you're going to want to go ahead and jump on. Social Paintball still has it. And it's pretty cool. Why do I keep going in and out? What is going on with my camera? I'm going to have to bring Steve out here pretty soon to find out what's happening. Wow, that's wild. Interesting. I've never had that happen before. Wow, that is so weird. Anyhow, let me get my shout outs and I'll get Steve out here. Maybe he can help me figure this out. Man, my cameras never did that before. What is going on with you, baby, huh? Wow, even I'm getting dizzy watching it. Anyhow, Tim Schloss, Tiger Stripe Camouflage, has Gateway Paintball, and we just had the last of the WCPL tournaments this past month, and it was absolutely cool. I mean, we had such a great time. I wish everybody could have attended that, and I'm hoping next year everybody does attend it. And then Dan and John Colby, been my sponsors for many years, started out Air America and now Immortal Air. Very, very, very special guy to me. Dan is. Dan and I go way back, just like Tim and I do. And then Bud Orr, my big brother. What can I say about Bud? You know, I just have to say his name, and wow, it's like angels rise. And you know, he's one of the best guys you'll ever want to meet. You know, and he did a lot for paintball back in the day. And all of these guys I mentioned are still working very, very hard for paintball. It is very, very cool. I just love these guys, big time. Tom K, he was my second sponsor with Airgun Designs. So I shot the mag for many, many years. Still love the mag. Still love Tom K. These guys were just absolutely great. And then Rainey and Julie Boucher, I mentioned them every week. They had paintball news back in the day. 2 times a month you could go and pick up a paintball news and tell you what just happened, what was coming up. Things for sale, had a map with all the fields located on it and stuff like that. Juvie's not doing real good right now. So Rainey, her husband, is by her side all the time. So I know we're a paintball community, so I know my prayers go out to them. And I'm hoping everybody else will throw a prayer out there for them too, because you know, like I say, we're supposed to be a family, a paintball family. That's what makes us grow bigger and better. Okay. And then Randy Camilla he was the editor for APG back in the day, gave me my first cover shot. Jerry Braun had paintball sport back in the day, and his paintball sports field in New York. That's where we had the middle tournament for the WCPL. It's actually run by Kevin Donaldson, but you know, that's Jerry's field and everything's pretty cool. And then my first marker sponsor was Ross Alexander from Line SI. I still have my Bushmaster up here that I played my first professional 15-man tournament with. Very cool. And then Jim Lively, 2 tournaments he wanted to do back in the day. One was Jim Lively's Masters. The other was Jerry Braun's World Cup. And when we were in St. Louis, who shows up to say hi to everybody? That's right. Jim did. Yeah, we had Jim Lively there. Gino from Velkin was there. David Bell, Viewloader. Man, I had everybody there. I put them all on the spot too at a meet and greet. You'd have loved it if you'd have been there. It was pretty cool. Next year they'll be there again. You're going to want to be there and hang out with us. It's just terrific. And then Gino, like I just said, I had Gino there. You know, Gino from Velkin. I mention Gino every week because Gino does a ton of stuff behind the scenes, and his paint is rocking. His paint shoots like darts, man. I got to tell you, we shot it at my tournament out here. We shot it at Tim's tournament. The stuff is great. I honestly think that he's got it nailed down, and he's got a new factory, a new facility he's putting together now out there in Jersey. This is the stuff I shot was from out here in Southern California, but he's got his facility. I'm breaking in a new tongue, excuse me. His facility in New Jersey is just about up and running, and it's going to be very, very cool. And like I say, absolutely love what the guy does behind the scenes. I wish I could tell you everything, but I know Steve's going to be griping about me right now because, you know, Steve is the one that actually started it. Oh, my God, your monologue is way too long, way too long. And then who jumps in? Andy Stretch jumps in, you know. And now if the one's over 35 seconds, somebody's on me about it. But anyhow, that's another story. That's a whole nother show. We'll get to that one day, though, I promise. And then I always say hi every week to my 2 young guns, Mark Gong Jr. and Jaden Gong, which will, for the Hermans, which will actually be at Cup. So, without further ado, Gumby, I see you were there somewhere. Cheryl Ellis. Oh my God. If you guys don't know Cheryl Ellis, you're going to want to know her. She is, she's one of the coolest girls I've ever met. I mean, she's like a really tightly wrapped package of dynamite. So, you know, be careful. Don't light the fuse around her. But she's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to having her on the show here in a few weeks. I'm going to have an all-girls show, actually. I'm going to have her on and some other ladies from the Valkyries, the ladies team, which I think is very, very cool. And they're doing darn good. So anyhow, without further ado, this guy still has the Well, let's see, how do I want to say this now? Because I always forget the first part, and he always gets mad. I always go the Unknown Paintball podcast, and he goes, "No, it's I'm just going to go with the Unknown Paintball podcast." And everybody knows him as Steve McGuire, but the guy is always biscuits and gravy to me, no doubt about it. So please, everybody, welcome Mr. Biscuits and Gravy. What's going on, Steve?
It's just good to be back. I was falling asleep though. By the way, two things. You've got low light, and so when you come close to your camera, it's trying to autofocus and it can't. So
is that what it is?
Yeah, so you just need to sit back and bring the mic closer to you. I mean, you're used to doing this a lot, right? So you just bring the mic closer.
You know, I got to tell you, you look right at home doing that. But anyhow, I'm not going to get into it. It's a kid's show. We're going to let that roll. So we got 26 people watching. I thought you said nobody's going to watch that because it's Halloween.
I didn't say nobody was going to watch. I just wasn't expecting there to be a lot of people tonight. I figured everybody would watch it afterwards. That's like podcast.
You know what's going on, Steve? Is everybody's already been out trick-or-treating or home sucking down candy right now watching us.
Well, that could be it. That could be it. By the way, I saw that you have to have Mr. Fred, and so I changed my name from just Steve to His Royal Majesty Steve.
Biscuits and gravy. Everybody would have known you if you'd have put that on there.
Yeah, but that's just a given. But you need a title. Apparently on your show, you need a title. So I put my title right there. See, everybody?
Well, you know what my title actually was is a count. I was Count the Monet. Count the Monet.
I got it. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, I know. You know,
but I'm actually surprised of that because your mullet has slid back, and so how can you have a mullet if you don't actually have business in the front?
Good question. Good question. I'll work on that and I'll get back to you.
The only reason why I can say that is because,
yeah. Hey, I actually got quite a bit in the back now. I don't have any of that
there either.
It
all slid to my face.
Yeah, I change up a little bit here and there. You know, I just I came into when I started playing paintball back in the day. I had long hair, and then I kept it for a long time, and then I went to shorter hair, and then I back to long hair again, and that's just how I am.
Oh, I get it.
So you know what, Steve helped me out an awful lot when I first got things up and running. Every time I had a panic attack, which was quite often actually, I would call Steve up and Steve would get me up and running. Do this, do that, do this. He is still an admin on my site. So, you know, I still get to things go bad. I get a hold of Steve.
Yeah, I haven't been active, just so everybody knows it there. I haven't been active in the last year plus because there's just stuff going on at home and I'm just trying to get ahead of everything. And my current job keeps me working on shift work. And as Fred will tell you, it is hell trying to schedule guests every week. Like there's a whole lot of networking and everything that goes on. Nobody understands that. Fred does. But very few people understand just how hard it is to have an original show every single week. I figure that's why Fred drags out that monologue as long as he does. That way he's got an excuse for having less content. But that's just my opinion. Like, what do I know? You know, and I gotta, Fred, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to take over for just a second.
Oh, no, I'll go get
you give out a lot of shout outs, but I want to give a shout out to you. Because I don't know if anybody else knows it. Actually, I know nobody knows this. This is the first time I'm actually saying it in public. But you checked on me every single month, almost weekly at points. You've checked on me every single month since I've gone away. You've always been, "Hi, Steve, how you doing?" Whatnot. And I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you. So please, dear God, don't start thanking yourself in your opening statement because it's already long freaking enough, but you need the recognition. And I just wanted to say thank you so much because, man, I can't even begin to tell you how much I've appreciated you reaching out to me for over a year, just checking in on me because it's been it's just been a lot, you know.
I appreciate that very much. You know, the $1 million insurance policy I have in you meant nothing. Not a thing, Steve.
No, not even a little bit. Especially because I'm in Canada, so like it's not even $1 million anymore. It's like
I'm like, oh man, he's still here.
You're spending more money than you're going to get at this point.
I love it. Well, you know what? I was so happy when you got a hold of me and you said, you know, I've got a week off and I would be able to come on the show because I've been trying for quite a while to get Steve to come out, and you know his schedule at work just didn't pan out with the show time because.
Well, no, I was either at work or asleep, one or the other.
You need 16 hours of sleep. We know that. That's what happens when you're.
If I don't, I'll look like you.
Oh man, if you look like me, you look 10 times better than you do now. But anyhow, that's something else. So I was just, I was extremely happy to have you come on tonight. I think it was very good. So paintball up there now, is it snowing up there first of all?
It was snowing today, yes, but it didn't stay. Today was where I am. Today was the first day of snow. I know places north of here have had a lot more. Has already started to snow. Like one of my buddies who lives up well north of Sudbury, he's had snow on the ground for a while now. So, and that's 7-8 hours north of here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, because Jeff Thompson put out there and he was driving. You couldn't even see the road. It was.
It hit pretty hard, but the snow won't stay where I'm at until mid-December-ish as a general rule. And then it sticks pretty hard until February-ish. But where I am right by Lake Ontario. So there's not a lot of snow that sticks because we got just the lake effect stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a weatherman. I wish I was. Wouldn't that be the perfect job? We can be wrong all the time and still get paid and have complete job security.
I would love it. I'd be like, you know, man, it's high in the mountains and low in the valley. And if it doesn't rain, it's going to be beautiful. I mean, I would be perfect for that job. Literally. You don't think so, huh?
All right. What is Mark Gong saying? Steve McGuire is worth loonies or toonies. Actually, Mark, both are legal Canadian currency. A loonie is $1 and a toonie is $2. Imagine how that works. But the loony has a loon on it and the toonie has a bear on it. So actually 2 bears, but
you're telling us the truth, huh?
Yeah. Really? Google is your friend, guys. Google is your friend.
So, I mean, if I ever went up there, I would say, give me a loony. Oh no, give me 2 loonies for a toonie.
Yes. Or you could go to KFC and it's Toonie Tuesday.
Ah, I gotcha.
Where you can get like a piece of chicken for $2.
All right. You guys got KFC up there. That's pretty cool. You guys are coming around. I like that.
Actually, if you're going to come up here for fried food, and I will be the first to say American food as a general rule is 1,000 times better than anything you can get up here. First and foremost. And when I say American food, I'm talking traditional American food, not specific chefs and stuff. But if you come to Canada, you need to try Mary Brown's chicken. It was invented on the East Coast, and I want to say Newfoundland, and it tastes like nothing that you guys have got down there, and it's fantastic, especially the taters, which are like a wedge. And then they cook the wedge in the deep fried batter, and it's just like the greatest thing ever, especially if you get poutine with KFC wedges.
Wait, you know, Jeff Thompson and Andy, they came down and they played with the band down here.
Yeah, I realized that. We talked all this much, and you gave them band status before you gave me. Yeah, I know. I'm fully aware.
When you show up, take my word for it, you'll probably be hooked up. But you got to show up, be hooked up. But anyhow, they made me some kind of fries, something with cheese curds.
Poutine.
What was it?
Poutine.
Poutine, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, they got fries and they put something on it with the cheese curds and stuff. And it was
it's a special gravy. It's called poutine sauce. Most people just put gravy on it, like beef gravy, but that's not proper.
Was that
The
right?
actual poutine sauce has a seasoning to it that's different.
Cheryl, do you know Cheryl Ellis? Have you ever met
I
her?
do. Cheryl and I do a lot of stuff for the Paintball.media magazine
Oh, do you?
behind the
Oh,
scenes.
yep, yeah. She's a doll.
She's
I like
amazing and
oh
so
God,
talented.
she cracks me up, man. I got to tell you, I just even when I get around her, I just look at her. I don't know why I start laughing because I just know something funny is going to come out of her mouth. So, but yeah,
You should try working with her sometime.
nah. She tried to
Oh,
get me drunk. She tried to get me drunk so I would dance on tables. Do you know that? So
do you
because
have
I
to get
told
drunk
her,
for that? I just do it because I enjoy it.
yeah. Wow, you know, in a whole year you worked on your sense of humor because you know I thought your funny bone had died. I really
It
did,
did.
and that was a good one.
It full on did. And now I'm on a break from work, and here I am. It's been bottled up for a year.
Oh, she says we're making her blush. I got to see that. Oh, I wish I could see you blushing. So
I'm
bingo.
pretty sure you can. You just got to get a care to sit in front of a camera for a while.
Yeah, I'm going to actually. I'm going to hit her up, have her an all girls show on here, and you know that's going to be pretty lively. You know, I might just get them going and kind of go get a sandwich and come back and kick back and see what's happening. You know, so hey, you remember this shirt?
I do. I have one. I think mine says number 2 on it.
Yeah, I think it does too. Yeah, because I signed these. We bought 100 of them. We were going to sell them because we are actually still going to get this thing going
At some point, absolutely.
Yeah, Stronghold is a company that Steve thought up the name, and then it came to me, and you know that's how I work things, man. The minute somebody thinks of something, then I'll go ahead and take credit for it. So, but that's another joke. You can smile anyhow. There you go. There you go.
All right. So who's saying Steve? Because all it says is Facebook user. Because it's
Yeah,
actually
you know,
typed in caps.
that is all I get is that, you know, on my computer, Steve.
Yep.
I don't know who it is. Half of them are a Facebook user. I got Gumby up here, Stefan, because I know I just know who he is. Mark Gong, I got his name on. But if I get on my phone here,
yep,
and see who it is, I can tell you in a second.
Oh, Robert Hansen.
Oh, Robert. All right. And no, I can't tell you. Why can't I tell you?
And he's about to call me Moose. Give him a second. It's only a matter of time. He's going to type in Moose. It'll happen. Just wait. You see.
There it is, Robert Hansen. How you doing, buddy? Very, very cool. You know, Steve, you've done an awful lot in paintball, you know, an awful lot. And then you kind of dropped out, you know, and now we're trying to get you to drag you back in here, you know. And I know we won't have to drag you back in kicking and screaming because it's something that you want to do. But, you know, I did the thing with Andy a few weeks ago in Colorado.
Yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't make that. I had to work.
Yeah, I know you did. It's a shame you didn't have often because we would have flew you down there. It would have.
Oh, believe me, you are not the first person to tell me that.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that for months. It's like, get the time off. We'll get you there. Unfortunately, I am not eligible for any vacation time until March of next year. See, I told you it was coming.
Wow.
So I do not get any vacation time until March. And even then, I don't know when I'll be able to use it. Just with everything going on, I have to keep my days off close to me because I have this sneaking suspicion that I'm going to need them for personal stuff in the somewhat near future. So,
gotcha. Yeah. Well, you know, we're still looking forward to when you come back.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, we're all getting older, but we're not that old yet, so we'll still be around, hanging out and banging away. But you know, I'd like you to come down and you know, go bang away with the band. Because you know, we have a great time, and we have some great people on this.
I just like to point out to everybody that this is the very first time he's ever mentioned me possibly being part of the band since its inception.
You put me on the spot. That's
First
why.
time. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Again.
I'm a media person like you. I wouldn't like drop something like that and force it on.
Yeah, you're just like I'm smart enough to pick up on that.
Oh,
But yeah, we would love for you to come down and play. You know who's on the band? I got Gino
Andy
on the band. I got Andy on the band. I got Dan Colby on the band.
Yeah, I met him. He's not all that
you
great.
Look at this step, yeah. Tim Schloss, Gino, David Bell, Kevin Donaldson, Bud Orr, Bill Bailey, Hell Haggard, Mean Gene, AutoCockerParts.com, Dan Colby.
I will be 100% honest. The person that I want to meet the most is Tim Schloss, that I haven't met yet. Like, I've met a lot of fantastic people in paintball, and nothing to put against them, but I am looking forward to shaking Tim Schloss's hand.
You're gonna love Tim Schloss. Hey, Tim, I can almost guarantee you he's watching. Bud Orr, Tim, these guys watch his show every week. Tim, call us. Say hi to.
Oh, it's okay. Every time he calls, he just talks to you. Nobody else can hear what's going on, and it's kind of like you're just talking into a banana.
That's perfect.
Like, if you talked into a banana, it would make as much sense.
Yeah, I got a thing to plug in my phone so it would work both ways, and for some reason it doesn't.
You cannot say work both ways to me and not expect me to take that and run with it.
What's going on, Tim?
See, he's talking into everybody else. Is he not talking into a banana? Sounds like he's talking into a banana.
Yeah, he says he can't wait to shake your hand.
Yeah, well, nice to shake hands. I've seen him on a lot of stuff, and I think he'd be a fun guy to hang out with.
Oh yeah, now he's finally got a sense of humor. It took me 2 years to get it out of him, though.
Some people are slow learners.
Now you're gonna like him. I told him he can't wait to meet you. I told him that you're one of the nicest guys I know.
Well,
so I'm hoping the check's in the mail.
Yeah, well, I'll give it. Just let me know when he's going to be around, and I'll make sure that we get a chance to meet.
Well, we're hoping to get him down here next year. The job kind of sealed him up this year, but we're hoping we can maybe steal him away for a weekend. If he gets 2 days off, maybe we can fly him down and shake his hand and put him back on a plane and send him back up there.
Yeah. Sometimes life just gets in the way of life.
Yeah, that's what I hear, huh?
Oh, yeah. So I guess I'll see you next week on Tuesday.
Yeah, you sure will. Matter of fact, I'm going to do my show from the motel down there next week.
Well, that's going to be fun. Can't wait to see you.
Yeah, well, I hope you can come up to the room and we can knock it out of the park there.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It just be nice to get away. It was 30 degrees today, and it's supposed to be 30 degrees tomorrow. I just want to go someplace where it's warm.
You just told me that. Now I got to go put a jacket on.
You should try coming up here.
Steve said you should come up there. What's the temperature up there, Steve?
Cold,
he says.
Yeah, it's real cold here.
I'd have to ask the stupid hockey puck.
And that upset inside, he had a lot of money invested in warm air in the house, and I didn't want it to go to waste.
I love it, Tim.
Hey, I'll let you get back to it, but tell Steve I said hi, and we'll get together one of these days.
Okay, yeah, because you're one of the guys he wants to meet.
Well, I don't know why, but I'll be more than happy to shake his hand.
There you go, brother. All right.
See ya.
All right, bye-bye, Timmy.
Bye.
No,
all right, everybody, that was Tim Schloss, Tiger Stripe Camouflage.
When it was in the 90s, I used to read every single magazine that came out, like every single one of them. And I'd read them cover to cover. And I had a huge collection, and like going back to 1987-ish. That's about how far back my collection went. I started in 89, but if I found older ones, I was grabbing them. And all those people that I would read about, you being one of them, and like that, but Tim Schloss, of all the greats that I've wanted to meet, all the industry leaders that helped build the industry, he's the one that I most want to shake his hand, that I haven't met already.
Yeah, he's how I met Tim was back in 1988. I was at the Masters. It was still 15-man. And I had Constant Pursuit back there, and that was our first really big professional tournament. And we were doing good. And after every game we'd win, this guy would come up to me and go, oh, you guys are doing great. You're doing great. And then he'd turn and walk away, right? So this went on for about 3-4 games, Steve. And, finally I go, who the hell is this guy anyhow, And everybody goes, oh, God, I don't know, Fred, I don't know. And so anyhow, we almost won the tournament. We ended up taking second, I think. And make a long story short, the guy comes up to me and he goes, oh, man, you guys did great. That was a great thing. And he turns to walk away, and this another guy comes up to me. He goes, yeah, that's Tim Schloss. He owns Tiger Stripe Camouflage. And we linked up at that tournament, and him and I have been linked up ever since. And I got to tell you, Steve, he is one of the best people you will ever want to meet in this sport.
Hey, no doubt, because don't forget, I've been reading stories about him for what, 3 decades now?
The good stories, right?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, him and
wait, I got to interrupt for a second. I think Cheryl Ellis actually made her first typo that I've ever seen in my life. It says, hopefully they bring him in escort. I'm sure she meant bring him an escort. That would be sick. And I agree, Cheryl. When I join the band, they need to get me an escort. That would just be the best thing ever.
Huh? Female or male? Oh, yeah. I'll let it go. Maybe a seeing eye dog or something. I'm not sure. We'll put something together. Now.
I would be happy with a seeing eye dog to lick my face these days. That would be just
another thing I'm not going to get into. Boy, a million things just ran through my mind too.
How do you think I felt when you said it go both ways?
Cheryl's not even here. What a
I thought steam was going to start popping out of my ears. You didn't see my eye spinning around like a slot machine in Vegas.
Cheryl, you see what you do to a guy? Huh? Do you see what you do to a guy? Oh my God. That's hilarious, man. But yeah, you see, when you come down and play with the band, we'll get you something. We'll hook you up. You'll have fun because, like I say,
now, I
hang around with these guys.
I have to ask you a question about, before we get off topic, and you get off topic so fast.
No.
Or maybe it's I that get off topic. I mean, it could be me. Could be me.
Okay, I'll go with that. Go ahead.
With Tim Schloss's Tiger Stripes, I always remember from the originals, he had a pattern that made his very distinctive. And it was a 3-prong and it stopped. But I've been looking at the new stuff and it doesn't have that 3 fingers. It's got a 3-finger with an extension.
No, it does. The top one's always longer, Steve. And as a matter of fact, on the new ones, here, hold tight. Let me see if I got this. This is an original. This is my old jersey.
Right.
That is an original right there.
Correct.
Okay. Now the new ones, there's a lot of knockoffs, Steve. I mean, when somebody has a good product, doesn't matter what it is, somebody's going to knock it off. Look at Bud Orr. Just everybody does it. So you look at the new ones now, look up in here, and it has the Tiger Stripe logo up here. If it doesn't have the Tiger Stripe logo, it's a knockoff.
No, I totally get that. But I've been looking at the new stuff compared to the old stuff, and I've never seen the actual Tiger Stripe logo in the Tiger Stripes themselves when I look at the pictures. And I just wondered if I'm missing it or if it's still really there. Also, I seem to remember, because a few of the Booney Boys used to have it back in the day, because I never actually had an official Tiger Stripe. It was hard to get and really expensive. I got one of those knockoff ones from that New York company, which everybody seems to want, but I'm not parting with it. But also the originals used to actually have Tiger Stripe written in like little tiny letters inside the black print, didn't it? Or am I forgetting?
No. It actually, some of them actually had that, and some of them actually had the logo. Now the new ones, when you get them, the new ones up in here from Social, it actually has the Tiger Stripe. It has the 3 fingers.
Okay.
And see, that's where the knockoffs come. You see this? The long one is, that's the 3 fingers. That's Tim's right there.
Right. But now, you see where you were pointing at the 3 fingers.
Yep.
If I remember, the old ones didn't have that, let's call it a tail for lack of a better word. But you got the 3 fingers, and then you got the big wide black that came behind it. And I don't remember that from the originals. But then again, I never owned one, so
This is an original here, and I probably got my thing on it there. That's
Well, put your thing
original right
away.
here. Yeah.
See, there's the 3 on the back.
Yep.
If you look on the bottom closer to the left,
And then
you'll see there's
inside
just this.
someplace. See, you should have asked me that when we had Tim on. Tim knows all about that stuff, man. He could have told me. But
Yeah, but when
this is
I'm
so
listening
good.
to Tim on your phone, he sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher with the.
That's because you didn't want to talk to you directly. I'm an interpreter. So,
Ah.
you know, yeah, because, you know, you're Canadian. It's hard to understand you sometimes.
And he
so
speaks fluent Sloshanese.
Sloshanese, that's correct. So what I do is, you know, I just take and, you know, he tell, uh-oh, see?
Here we go with the Sloshanese again.
What's going on, Tim?
I just wanted to clarify, what he is saying is correct about some of the later garments did have the name in it.
Yep, I got a couple of those that are like that. That's
Yeah.
what we're talking
And
about.
when we went to the rip stop, we added that just as a little bit more copyright and trademark protection. We put that in some of the later stuff. The stuff that we're doing right now, the new stuff, is off of the original artwork that did not have that in there.
Yep. And yeah, this is the original colors and everything, the new stuff now, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Stuff that we've got right now that we just come out with, it's off of the original artwork, the original Pantones and everything. But I don't know, it was probably about 10 years after we started, we went ahead and added the Tiger Stripe products on advice of the attorneys.
Yeah, Mark Gong says, say hi to you.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. It was just some more protection we put in there for the trademark. Make it stand up a little better in court if we had to. But the stuff that we're doing right now is, I always thought that when we put the name on it, it took away from the garment because it just started looking commercial. So when we did the new stuff, it's off of the original artwork where it doesn't have Tiger Stripe products right there by the logo. However, if you see our trademark, the stuff, all our letterhead and everything, it's got the Tiger Stripe in there, kind of like what he's saying.
Yep. Yeah, because, you know, and then back in the day, you know, because I wore Tiger Stripe ever since. I had to tell him the story about how we met at the tournament that time. Yeah. And anyhow, make a long story short here, I wore Tiger Stripe ever since then. And then you came out with the black sleeves, and that's what I wore all the time. And now, go ahead.
Yeah, we built that specifically for you.
And, you know, you're still, the new ones that come out now also have that, because I seen a team at the tournament at your field a couple of weeks ago, and they all had that on with the black sleeves, and it had the OFG down on the sleeve. I was so proud.
Yeah, well, it's to pay homage to you. I mean, it was it came up for you. And for those people who don't know what the OFG means, it's original Fred gear. And, sometime, I've always wanted to have a line with that. And this is the first piece of it. But he's correct on having the wording on. It was mainly on the ripstop stuff. I don't think we ever produced anything out of the cotton twill or out of the sublimated stuff that had it. It was just the ripstop stuff that we've got.
Well, I think the product is phenomenal then and still now. And I can't thank you enough for for saying that about the black sleeve thing, because the black sleeve thing was a big thing to me when that all happened.
Well, you deserve it. I don't think people really understand what you've done for this sport. I mean, you're a good friend, and it sounds easy for me to say this stuff, but I mean, you've done so much to promote this sport, and people, myself included, and a lot of other people have just benefited from your labor and your love of the sport. I mean, you've opened so many doors for us and given us so much promotion. I mean, I guess I ought to build a statue to you or something, but
Wow, yeah. Make it out of chocolate.
Yeah.
If you build a statue for Fred, it's going to look like a pop with like a massive head.
I mean, you have been so unselfish and just done a world of good for everybody that plays this sport.
Well, I really appreciate that, Tim.
Well, I mean it. And, like I said, the least I could do was have a garment for you. Down the road, maybe we'll come up with some other stuff. But it's just,
I love
good
it.
to have you in the game, man.
Well,
the whole game has changed since you've come back.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. Awful lot.
Well, it's the truth. You know, and anybody that can't see it's nuts. But anyway, I just wanted to help you clarify what he was talking about with it. That he's right, and that stuff that was printed was pretty much just on the ripstop slant pockets that we did. We did most of those for the military, but I mean, they are available out there. I can get them if anybody wants them. But, you know, it seems like everybody wants a pullover now.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's pretty cool. You called back in and clarified that because, you know, he's pretty smart on that stuff.
Well, you know, he was right. He's very observant. You know, most people don't pick up on that, but it's just, you know how it is when you've got something you got to protect in court, you know, and then, you know, the lawyers are always looking for, you know, ways to make their job easier, you know, even though they're getting paid by the hour.
Yeah.
But, you know, but it just makes it easier for them. So that's why that thing's there.
Right on, brother.
But
well, if Tim Schloss wants another pattern, I've got one developed that nobody wants, so you can look at it.
The reason I did that, like I said, was because we took it off the original artwork. The artwork's sitting here right in front of me. You know, it's hanging on the wall. But I mean, that's it's the original hand drawing. It isn't like today where everything's computer generated or you've got graphic guys. I mean, this thing was, you know.
You remember last year when I took a picture of you holding the original artwork, and in 24 hours we had over 17,000 reaches.
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, I mean, one of these days maybe I'll make a poster of that artwork and we just sell it to everybody. But it's just, I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
The picture that they took of you holding, that's the artwork that we did the New Jerseys off of, which is the same artwork that we did our original stripe cloth from back in '84.
Wow, very cool, Tim.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you get back to it, but I just wanted to help you clarify what was going on with that.
I appreciate that big time, my friend.
Hey, anytime, Freddie.
All right, brother. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. One more time, guys. That was Tim Schloss.
How cool is it? Like, I mean, I don't know if you geek out as much as I do, Fred, because I mean, you were there for.
Oh, I do. I geeked out the minute you came on.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I just geek out on this stuff like constantly. You know, I'm cool enough not to like to go full on. Oh my God! But
you know,
I still geek out just like a little bit.
These guys have been my friends for 30 years. You know, all of these.
Yep.
You know, Tim, Dan Colby, Bud Orr. You know, we all go back very, very long time to the beginning. We all worked together. We all did things together. So, you know, that's where I'm very fortunate that when I got in and things started rolling for me. And you know what got me really going was Randy Camilla, Steve. He gave me my first cover shot in APG, and he gave me my first cover shot because I was at a Ronald McDonald fundraiser, and I'd been at two other ones before that, and this one was down in LA. So I flew down to LA because I just wanted to go hang out and play paintball and, you know, meet some new people. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, didn't I see you here? Didn't I see you there?" And I go, yeah, I've been there. And he's like, "Well, who's your sponsor?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, I'm like my sponsor, you know." And so next week he calls me up. He goes, "Can you fly down to Burbank tomorrow?" And I go, "Yeah." And so anyhow, that was my first cover shot, which led to, you know, many cover shots after that. But that's what's got me started. People always try to figure out, what does it take to really become popular? God, try being nice to people. Try helping people. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, such a simple philosophy, you know. Tim Schloss, I watched Tim Schloss sponsor a gazillion teams back in the day. And I watched teams get up after they won a tournament or placed in a tournament, Steve. They would get up there and not even mention his name. And that would just smoke me so much when I would see that. I think of how ungrateful, you know, because that camel costs a lot of money, and it costs a lot of money to outfit a team, but yet you don't have the respectability to at least acknowledge what he's done for you. So, you know, I did that all the time. Tim was one of the first guys I mentioned. And who's the first guy I mentioned still today? Tim Schloss. You're I think I ran out of paper.
You mentioned me before him on this show. You were saying, I'm going to bring Steve on. For the record, on this show, I was the first person you mentioned. Thank you very much.
You're talking about logistics.
I
Yeah,
almost owned Randy Kamea's Line SI Bushmaster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I tried to buy it off him, but it went, if I remember correctly, to a guy nicknamed Dirty Dan out of Ottawa. And I'm pretty sure that that's where it went. Now, I don't know if they still have it or what happened, because I'm pretty sure Dan is no longer in paintball from the last I've heard. He always used to play down in New York way, and I could have sworn he put the gun up for sale or sold it or something. But before he got it, I almost bought it off Randy.
Well, my original mag, I took my wife. We were going to a tournament.
That
in
one was
Chicago.
stolen, wasn't it? The original mag?
I'm getting to, yep. And we were going to a tournament in Chicago. We stopped at Wisconsin Dells, and my wife, I got her this gold bracelet, and everywhere when we travel around the world, I get her another gold charm to put on it. She goes, well, I better take my purse. I go, no, I'll leave your purse. Everything's fine. It's all locked up. We come back, and they had ripped off everything. That was all my wife's stuff too. That was my original mag that I'd got and would played with until they stole it. I also had a one-of-a-kind pump gun that Mike Cassidy made from Phantom with my name and everything on it, all engraved. They stole that. And then just a couple years ago, somebody called me from up in Canada, and they go, you know, Fred, I think somebody up here has your gun. And I go, what? And sure, they sent me a picture of it. And I got to tell you, it was my original mag. Some girl bought it at a garage sale or something like that. And so anyhow, so I got a hold of her and I left her a message. I go, yeah, this is Fred Schultz. I says, I'd be happy to buy that back from you. I said, it's pretty sentimental. And somebody texted me and they said she found out that it's an original Fred Schultz gun and she's going to sell it. So I texted back and said, well, whatever you want for it, let me know. And I never heard nothing back. That was it.
Funny how that works.
Isn't it? But yeah, that was a shame. That just, Tom K, I had like 10 mags, so I'm not going to say that I didn't have a mag, but that one was special. That's one I took with me and I played with all the time. And so that pretty much sucked.
Is that the only marker that you miss?
I missed the Phantom. I had one of the very first run autocockers. When they first came out, I seen Bob Long and Michael Beard and them guys were shooting it, and Mike say, Freddy, check this out, man. I shot it. I was like, I got to have one of these. So I got one, and then I had to go to England. So I go over to England, and there was a guy over there named Tim Tye. He did the writing for the magazines and stuff over there. And so I used it. I played in a Mayhem tournament with it, and it just rocked. And he told me, he goes, yeah, he says, Fred, will you sell me that gun? I go, no, I said, this is one of the first runs. I said, real low number on it. I says, I'm probably going to keep it. He goes, well, we can't get them over here. And he says, I would just love to have it. And it would be a Fred Schultz gun. Would you please sell it to me? And I said, well, I paid, I can't remember, like $300-400 for it, something like that. I says, this is what I paid for it. And he goes, I'll give you that and another $100. I go, no. I says, I tell you, you want it? Give it to me what I paid for it, right? So I sold it to him for what I paid for it. About 3-4 months later, a guy got a hold of me and goes, yeah, I just got a hold of this Fred Schultz autococker that Tim Tye had, and I paid $1,500 for it. And I'm like, so he took the gun, God rest his soul, he's dead now, but he took the gun and he wanted it for a keepsake, but it ended up selling it for $1,500. Now, maybe he needed the money. I don't know what the story was on it, but
I've had a couple situations like that, and I'm not going to talk about which gun, but because the minute I say which gun it was that I had that I sold, is I picked up this one gun for like $100 and it was worth $5 all day long. And it was a fairly rare early edition type marker. And a person I thought was a good friend said, oh, I got to have it. I'm like, he goes, I've wanted one forever. I'm like, okay, well, here. Because I bought it because I just thought it was cool. Wasn't ever planning on using it much, but I just thought it was cool. He sold it within 4 days for $700. And
Yep.
I still talk to him. I'm still polite with him, but never will he ever be considered a close friend, or will he ever get anything from me ever again. So
this Facebook user, I'm pretty sure it's my buddy Tim. I still have the 2-man and a gun Bushmaster we used in England. We were in a tournament in England, Tim Schloss and I, and we're behind this barricade, and they're rushing us from both sides, Steve.
Oh,
and
somebody says Jim Lively's in. That's a cool guy. Sorry to interrupt. I want to hear the story, but if Jim Lively's in, I just got to say hi to Jim, because there's another guy I really want to shake hands with.
Oh, great guy. That's why I mentioned him so many times on the show, even tonight. You know, and he was at St. Louis, which blew me away. Got to see him. Terrific person.
All right, get back to your story, because then I got other things to talk to.
Okay. Anyhow, we're behind this bunker, right? And we both got Bushmasters, and mine went down. And we got guys rushing us on both sides. So Tim and I are literally back to back, standing up, firing. And I go, Tim, they're coming in. He hands the gun over his shoulder. I take it and take care of my 2 guys coming this way. He goes, Freddy, they're coming in here. I hand it back. This went on for about 8 minutes. It was a leading story in one of the magazines over in England. 2 men and a gun. Tim's got pictures of it. He's got the whole story and everything, man. But anyhow, him and I stood them guys off for 8-10 minutes with 1 gun. So it was 2 men and a gun. Absolutely cool.
You can't do that these days. I remember being in a gunfight, and I was back to back with a guy named Mad Mike Gaudette, and I was shooting my nightmare competition short barrel, and he had one of the first Budor snipers. Before it was a Sniper 2, but not the original 50 that was made. So it still had the rib barrel, and it had the Thompson stock and the whole bit. And we were fighting off. We were in this little, you know how sometimes you have trees that come up and there's like a big empty space in the middle where deer will sleep and stuff. So it's just like this.
Yep.
And so like there's brush, but you're in like it's like a, I don't know, a natural bunker. There's only so many entrances to come in, and I'm like pounding away. And Mike had owned the store. He sold me the Nightmare, and he's like, "Aren't you wishing you had the sniper right now?" And I'm like, "Well, I couldn't afford a sniper back then. Like, I just couldn't. I was rocking the Nightmare." He goes, "I'm having fun with my Nightmare." And he goes, "Want to trade?" We're like, "All right." So in the middle of a firefight, it was just sort of like, here. Those things don't happen anymore.
You can't do that now. Yeah.
And not be completely back to back with a guy. I mean, how often does that happen?
That was incredible. You know, that's why, Schloss is so special. There's so many memories with him. Sometime when we're alone, I'll sit and tell you some of the things that we did. It was just phenomenal and absolutely cool. And we were in a tournament. I was playing with the Muffs, and there was another friend of mine named Chip Kurtz. And we were the last 2 guys left, and the other team still had 3 guys, and we were running out of time, right? So him and I are pushing on him, and my gun jammed, right? So I take my hopper off and I set it down, and it still won't do it. I take the barrel off, and he's going, Freddy, they're coming in right now. We got to get that flag. We got to get it. So I pick my stuff up, right? I'm holding it like this. He has 8 paintballs left in his hopper. He shot 3 guys out with those 8 paintballs. I pull the flag. I'm running it back. My hopper falls. I got to run back and pick my hopper up, because you could not hang a flag unless you had everything on you that you started that game with. I dropped the hopper. I get part way. I dropped the barrel. I got to run back and get the barrel, and he couldn't pick it up and get it to me. I had to go get it myself.
How did you drop the barrel?
I had it out. I had the barrel out. I had the hopper off. I had it all apart. I was sitting on the ground trying to fix it. And he goes, Freddy, we got 1.5 minutes left. There's 3 guys coming in. He shoots 1 out. He goes, there's those 2 over there. So I pick my stuff up and I start running. These guys start coming after me. Chip shoots these last 2 guys out. I pull the flag. He's still looking for stuff. I'm running back and stuff's falling out, and I'm picking it up. I finally hung the flag, but I was holding my gun and everything like this. It was all in pieces. It was hilarious.
I bet.
Yeah, right. That's one of our big stories. Go ahead.
So I know you're going to try to cut this show short, and there was something that I wanted to bounce off you, ask you, like, live, because I
Shoot.
figure if I throw it out there while everything's live, even if you don't run with it, somebody might. Do you remember how in the beginning you were talking about the greatest tournaments to be in the beginning?
Yep.
There was
Liveliest and Jerry Bronze.
Right. Why didn't you mention the International Amateur Open, and why can't that come back? I mean, you've got the WCPL, and that's great and amazing, and I'm loving reading about it. And I love how the WCPL is low numbers, and it's I mean, people are saying, oh, it's not this or it's not that. It's not trying to be anything. It's just trying to be fun and throw back to the way it used to be. And I love that.
Yeah.
But whatever happened to the International Amateur Open? Because while the World Cup was always great, I mean, everybody loved going to the World Cup and stuff because that was where the pros were. The International Amateur Open was actually bigger than the World Cup originally, like for the longest time, because there were so many amateur teams. The pros were able to do more social and stuff, and there was almost more business done at the International Amateur Open than there was at World Cup. Why can't that get resurrected?
Well, when we're off the screen, I'll tell you a little bit about that. Okay.
Fair enough.
You know, a lot of us helped Deborah back in the day to get things going on it. And, you know, some of us just, you know, it didn't work out with Deborah. Okay?
Right. And fair enough. And that's paintball. Like that's
it is. But, you know, if you wanted to go to a place now, was the Amateur Open fun? Yes. But when I went to Jim Lively's Masters, I knew before I even went there that my friends from overseas and everywhere that I would never have met, nor would I ever see again unless it was for a tournament like Jim's tournament or Jerry Braun's tournament. That's why I mentioned those at the beginning of my show.
Absolutely.
Two tournaments you wanted to do, Jim Lively's Masters and Jerry Braun's World Cup. And the reason is, I wish you could have been there, Steve. It was like a homecoming, you know. I mean, all my friends were there. We go out on the field and shoot the crap out of each other, but then there'd be a players party. And see, that's what we're doing with the WCPL now. We're having players parties and stuff.
Nice.
And it's just great.
And
you know, we're there to have some fun.
I'm not taking away anything from what's happening. I'm just thinking back then, that was a mecca of itself. And I'm not saying that anything that we start in the future, if anything even happens, but the concept was solid. No pros, all amateurs.
Like I say, off air, I'll tell you a little bit about it. But you know, I love going to Jerry Braun's World Cup. But you know, if I had to pick one that I thought was a happening, and that had to be Jimmy's Masters in Tennessee. They had the big tent. All the vendors were in a big ass circus tent. Everybody, I mean, anybody you wanted to talk to, that was the first place ever we played speedball down by the lake. Jimmy set up a speedball thing with hay bales. And I get there and he goes, you got to check this out. You got to check this out. It's incredible. So I go down there and I go, wow, this is a whole new concept. And that's what it was, a speedball with the hay bales. And, and they had a film crew there, and this film guy comes up to me and he goes, Mr. Schultz, he goes, can I follow you while you're playing? And I says, you can, but I says, you probably don't want to be behind me. I says, everybody likes shooting me. This poor guy got just ripped. I told him, do not follow me, you know. But that was the first time I played speedball. Jim Lively set that up by the lake. Big old slide they had there.
We actually got pictures of that up here in Canada, and I forget how it happened. And one of the local fields thought, oh, this is a great idea, and they tried it. Unfortunately, it's okay for a little while, but hay bales start getting a little after a while, especially in the moldy Canadian rains.
It was just a concept that.
I get it.
Try it. It was cool.
And I'm just saying that it happened. They said, oh, let's make it up here, but they wanted it to be like a long-term thing. So the first couple weekends it was pretty cool. Then it wasn't so nice anymore, and nobody wanted to play it because.
Yeah, you know, a quick story about Steve and I. You know, Steve and I kind of linked up. I think Keith Kissel, my buddy, Kiko Man. I think he kind of hooked us up when I got back into paintball. And then come to find out that I'd actually met Steve years before at the Dome when I was up. Yeah, Skyball, when I was up there in Canada playing paintball. That's actually where I met the Booney Boys and invited 5 of the Booney Boys to join Constant Pursuit, 5 of us, and we went and played a couple of tournaments together. Had a great time. But that's the story, is I had actually met Steve years before I met Steve, and I didn't even know it until Steve brought it up.
Yeah.
All about the shoe thing.
All about the shoes, the Reebok Juggernauts.
Something like that, yep.
No, not something like that, totally. And I still have the shoes because I found them the other day while I was cleaning. Really? Yeah, I still have the Juggernauts.
Wow.
And it's because they had the little nubs. And for everybody that doesn't know this story, Skyball, as fantastic as it was, had its own flaws. And one of the flaws was it had fake AstroTurf. It had just the green carpet that looks like grass. And with all the vegetable oil, paint, whatever, it got slick. Nobody could stand up. Everybody was just sliding all over the place. There was only a very select few people that got any grip at all. Cleats wouldn't work. Running shoes wouldn't work. You had to have something special specifically for turf. And I noticed that Fred Schultz had these great shoes and he was able to run and move. And me being me, it was like, well, I don't care if he's famous. I'm going to find out what's going on because I want to be able to stand up. So I just went up, introduced myself. Fred was super friendly. He was like, oh yeah, there's such and such. I went and I immediately ran down Yonge Street to the Reebok store and bought myself a pair and came back.
Were those tournaments fun, Steve?
All tournaments were fun.
Yeah, those were fun. Remember the first one when the blow-ups kept going out of air going down and Andy had the idea to use tires?
I don't know if it was Andy or Bobby about the tires.
Oh, it was Bobby. I think it was Bobby.
Exactly. I think it was Bobby too,
does.
but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure
they might have both worked on it. So.
And I got to be honest, and I know everybody thinks I'm stupid and everybody disagrees with me, but I honestly believe inner tube bunkers are just amazing. And then for the second year, because it took so much abuse and they were so inexpensive, they just did nothing but straight inner tube bunkers for the next year. And they just put like a giant sock over it. And they were great.
They were perfect.
Like, I mean, nothing against Sup Air and all the other manufacturers that make those. Like, they're fantastic with like the big Doritos and stuff. But if you ever want to set up a speedball field and you want to do it on a budget, by all means, get some tractor tires, like inner tubes, and just tie them up. And amazing.
Somebody said it was Bobby.
Yep.
Very cool. See, he's inner tube. Oh, geez.
So what is this? Hey, Fred, Steve, I still want to thank all my fellow referees.
Yeah, fellow referees, your side of the border, my side of the border, who helped.
Okay, so that's probably Cliff.
Scenario games. Looking forward to the next season. The Masters were awesome. I don't know who it is. But you know what?
I can tell you who that is.
Very cool.
That's Cliff, and Cliff is the guy behind the Discipline Lords, international reffing team.
Is he the one that he looks like a wizard when he dresses up?
He dresses up like a wizard. He dresses up like Santa.
I love the guy.
I used to ref with him long time ago for a while. He grabbed me and he goes, "Do you want to ref with me?" Because I was spotting hits from across the field. And so he had me come in, and Cliff is a paintball icon unto himself. And
yeah, I can't actually wait to shake his hands.
You've probably already met him.
I could have, but you know, Steve, if you go back through my career, I've met so many people I can't even begin to tell you. And and I just a lot of them I just don't remember. I can remember their face, but you know. I sit and I watch some of the stuff he posts, and man, I got to tell you, he could play a wizard in any damn show. He is fantastic looking.
Well, he does that a lot for kids and everything now as well, and he still refs. and he's still one of the most desired big game refs in the area up here.
Oh, I believe it. Absolutely believe it.
He keeps everything on the up and up. I still have all my jerseys.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But, you know, that's the kind of people that I try to push in paintball. Those are the kind of people that make paintball grow. I see his stuff online. I cannot wait to meet him. Actually, I think I'd like to hook him up and put him on the show sometime.
I've tried. He's in an area where he doesn't have a whole lot of internet, and he has a hard time getting connections. That's the only reason why he's never been on my show.
Maybe if he uses a phone or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe what I can do is I can roll down, because I got like 75 gig, because we're actually getting cheap cell phone prices. Maybe I'll just have to roll down out his way, and the three of us can do a show sometime.
There you
when
go.
I
Cliff
find
Meyer, thanks for all you do.
Yeah,
Cliff, my hat's off to you, buddy. I got to tell you, not because you're watching tonight, probably watching because Steve's on. But I got to tell you, I see the stuff that you do and the stuff that you do online, and my hat's off to you. You're my kind of guy. If you want to be true and you want paintball to grow and you're serious about it instead of just lip service, which there is so much lip service out there right now, it's not even funny. My hat's off to you. I think you're a great guy.
So, anywho, but yeah, no, Cliff's an amazing guy. I met some fantastic refs. So how long is it before you start kicking us all off? Or are we going a little bit over time?
We're 12 minutes over right now.
Oh, I'm aware.
So, maybe, I'm going to be doing it live from down in Orlando next week. Maybe if you're still not back at work, maybe I'll send you an invite and you can jump on with Bill and I, and Tim will be there.
I will be able to give you an answer, yes or no, on Thursday. But right now, as it is right now, I'm on leave until Friday, but I have a doctor's appointment. Not that everybody needs to know I'm okay. Don't worry about me. No need to the fundraisers or nothing. I'm okay.
It's a mental thing, guys. It's a mental thing.
It totally is a mental thing. Totally.
Yeah.
But I have an appointment on Thursday, and I might be off for about a month, or I might be going back to work next week. I'm not sure.
Well, let me know, because if you are, I'll send you the invite next week. I'm going to have Bill on and Tim Schloss. We're going to be sitting on a couch, just shooting a breeze, talking about being down there where it's nice and warm. And so, we need something to counteract that. So, if it's cold up there, we could have you on and we could talk about you being cold and us being nice and toasty and warm. I think it'd be cool. What do you think?
I think I may want to go back to work.
Well, Steve, I got to tell you, I appreciate very much you taking the time to come on tonight.
Dude, I didn't take the time. I'm just sorry it took so long.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy. First of all, I'm glad you're okay. Second of all,
I moved. I live in Guelph now, and I have great internet. And we met at 93 Masters, Fred. So that would be Cliff.
Oh, wow. Very cool. That would be Cliff then. Yeah. All right, Cliff, I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks, but I would love to have you on my show. Go ahead and give me a shot at that, would you? If you are able to come on, I would love to have you on the show sometime. I really would. I think you're great, and I know you're a first-class referee, and believe me, this sport needs first-class referees. It's
not wrong.
No, not at all. Not at all. So anyhow, yeah, hit me up, Cliff, and sometime here in the future, maybe in the next 4 or 5 weeks, I'd like to put you on the show, and we sit and talk paintball. So, Steve, we run over like 14 minutes here, my friend. Again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on. You're always, I enjoy the heck out of talking to you all the time. I would like to see you get back in the mix here as soon as possible. I think it would be absolutely great. I really do. So I'm going to let you say goodbye to everybody.
Well, sorry, I'm just reading all the comments going by. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to be back. If I'm off next week, I may just have a couple show or two of my own, just because I can. I may harass you a little bit too, if I can. I don't know.
Absolutely. Anytime.
But yeah, no, it was absolute pleasure. And I already think I thanked you enough at the beginning that, You
I
checked
thought
on
you
me.
just teased me about my monologue being too long.
Well,
I must have missed the thank you part. It was probably short because the teasing went on for 8 minutes.
well, the monologue was quite lengthy.
Yeah.
But no, you've been checking on me regularly. Like you haven't missed a month, and most months you talk to me more than once. But you've been checking on me regularly since I had to take a step aside and deal with life and family and such. And I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate that. And just being on live tonight, I miss this so much. I miss everybody, not just you, but everybody that's watching, everybody that's going to be watching. I love doing this. I love connecting with everybody and hearing the stories.
Well,
I just
we've
have a
had
hard time because I don't want to fake sincerity. You know what I mean? Like I got to deal with my stuff, and the minute I get everything under control, I'm going to be back, because as you are well aware, this does not pay anything. We do this because we love it.
absolutely
and we love
right.
the people that are with it. There is nothing in this for us other than the enjoyment of doing it.
You know,
So.
it's just, you know, helping make paintball bigger and better. You know, Bud told me one time, he says, you know why I love watching your show? I love Bud's on it most of the time, but he goes, I love watching your show because you're no different when I talk to you, when you're on stage, when I see you, or when you're on your podcast. He goes, you are the same guy. Never try to be anybody else, because I don't want to be anybody else. You know, and same thing with you, Steve. You know, we just we do it out of a desire for our sport. You know, if you love paintball enough, you'll know what we're talking about. If you don't love paintball enough, you probably won't know what we're talking about.
Nope.
And it is what it is.
And that's fine.
So, yeah, it is. You know, we've had Bud watch tonight. We've had Mark Gong watching tonight.
Jim
Keith
Lively.
Kissel. We've had Lively. We've had
Cliff.
Tim Schloss. Dan, Gino watches my show every week, but sometimes he doesn't watch it live. He gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and watches the entire show. And then he'll text me when I get up, which is late 30. He texts me and tells me all about it and how much he loved it and yada, yada, yada. Well, so Gino from Valken watches it every week. So, and Dan Colby, they all do. So, you know, I always say, Steve, that I'm not blessed for who I am, but for the people I get to know and the people I can honestly say, these guys are my friends, not so-called friends, not friends that use you to get what they want, but friends. And there's a difference, believe me.
Oh, there definitely is.
Yep, absolutely. My friend, thank you so much. Hang out in the green room and we'll talk for a second.
All right. Play with passion, everybody, and keep your paint dry. See you later.
There you go. Steve McGuire, man, what a great to have him back. Am I right? This was absolutely terrific. You know, Mr. Biscuits and Gravy, love the guy. He's done an awful lot for me, and we still have this. Believe me, stronghold, and we're still going to put it together. Steve went back to work, and everything got kind of put on hold, but it's going to come back. So just be looking for us in the future. It's going to happen. So next Tuesday evening, I will be live from Orlando. I will do the show next week, and I'm going to have probably Tim Schloss be there. William Bailey will be back. And we're just going to have a good time. You know, Gino's probably going to be down there. Maybe we'll throw Gino on with us. So if you get a chance, tune in next week, because I'm going to go live next week from Orlando. Because remember, guys, individually, we can all do something for paintball. Collectively, we can do a lot for paintball. So let's all work together and make our sport bigger and better. Okay? Till next Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock Pacific time, on Facebook, on Flagpole Productions. Please, everybody, play hard, play safe, play fair. Get out there and play paintball. All right? Bye now.